Oh man, Detroit Lions fans, I feel really fucking bad. Like, I honestly feel really bad for Detroit fans. This was the year. This was honestly, it felt like the year of destiny, the year that the Lions finally win the Super Bowl. Honestly, I wanted to believe that this was the year that Detroit would go and win the Super Bowl. But I guess it was never meant to be true. It was never, meant to happen, because Jay Daniels in Washington walked into Ford Field today and gave the Detroit Lions defense the biggest ass whooping they will ever receive in their entire fucking life. And that's a fact, all right? I'm a firm believer if Washington let Daniels throw it like 50, 60 times, he would have had 8, 9 touchdowns through the air and probably like almost 1,000 yards in the air, because they couldn't cover anyone. They couldn't cover anyone. The play calls were horrible. Daniels was literally just fucking dicing them up the entire fucking game. Honestly, this game was a joke. And for the Lions, they remain a joke. They remain still, even though they're some powerhouse now apparently, they're still the laughingstock of the NFL. And there's something very hilarious about that to me. How can you be this good, but still be laughed at by basically everybody? And your failures glorified by basically everybody. It's because this is a team that was just made to fail. The Lions are a team that have been synonymous with failure for 100 fucking years. They haven't won the Super Bowl ever. Ever. Have they even made one? I'm not even sure they have. I don't know if they've ever made a Super Bowl. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've ever made a Super Bowl. This has been a team of straight losers for 100 fucking years. And no, NFL championships don't count as Super Bowls. Don't try to count that fucking dumb bullshit as a Super Bowl, because that's not, no. That's a different era of the NFL. Different era of football, a different era of life itself. Don't try to count that shit, man, because it doesn't count at all. The Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, just tried to call a bunch of little tricky bullshit fucking plays, just completely embarrassed himself in front of everyone. They still managed to score 31 points because they have all that talent on offense. But Ben Johnson, he called the trick play where it's like a reverse pass, and it went south really quick. Jameson Williams got the ball and threw an interception. And he was he was doing what he was meant to do on that play. It was a designed play where they give it to Williams in the reverse, and he rolls out right and throws it, and the guy, he's throwing to is supposed to be like wide open by like 100 fucking yards. So he was just doing what he was supposed to do. He was doing what he was taught to do in the play. And he's not a quarterback, so the throw didn't come, it was erratic. The accuracy was not fucking good. It was horribly thrown. But he's not a quarterback, so what do you expect him to do? You expect him to be able to throw it off platform, running 30-something yards on the field when he's not a quarterback? You shouldn't expect that. No one should expect that. Ben Johnson called a shit game. Not really a shit game, but not a good game. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, did not make a single adjustment in the second half. Not one. They did the same thing they did in the first half, and they got torched. They got cooked. Jaden Daniels destroyed them. The run game destroyed them. Basically, every time Washington took the field, you knew they were going to score. You knew they were going to score points. I don't even know if they punted once this whole game. I'm not sure they punted. I don't know if they punted once the whole fucking game. Once they correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if they punted. Because they were that dominant on offense. They were that fucking good on offense. They didn't even need to bother. They were going for it on fourth down because they knew that Detroit's defense was fucking atrocious. They were horrendous. And yes, they're injured. Yes, they're hurt. That's the excuse. I understand that. I really fucking do. But at the end of the day, when you don't make any adjustments to try to get around the talent deficit, then maybe you're not a great, maybe you're not a great defensive coordinator. And Dan Campbell, honestly, I'm starting to think this guy's just a glorified motivational speaker. I don't know what he does. I don't know what Dan Campbell does, other than, he's really aggressive and he goes for it a lot. And half the time, it doesn't pay off. So this image of him being some tough SOB that, is aggressive and goes for it and does all that cool stuff, it's just it's a charade, essentially. It's a facade. To me, I don't know. I don't know about that guy, man. Maybe I think he might just be getting carried by his coordinators. Honestly, that's the first thought popping in my mind after this game. This guy is probably a great, locker room leader guy who gives hell of, amazing motivational speeches at halftime and before the game and after the game. But that's not a guy you employ as a head coach. So, don't quite know what he does, but apparently he's doing something right because he's been the coach there for a couple fucking years now and he's had some success. Cool. Amazing. And if you're Detroit, what do you... Jared Goff. Jared Goff's horrible. Jared Goff sucks. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm saying when the bright lights are on and when he has to thrive, he sucks. He's horrible. 3 interceptions, a fumble. The guy was fucking atrocious today. He fucking sucked balls. He was a bum. Oh, but he got that concussion. No, he didn't. He didn't get no concussion because he went to the Blue Medical tent and they fucking cleared him play in the second half. What does that tell you? The concussion, he didn't get one. He didn't get one. Oh, he was woozy. He was woozy. No, he wasn't. Stop that excuse. Stop it. First of all, that's simply not fucking true. If he was really concussed that bad, they would have said, no, Teddy 2 gloves. Put Teddy Bridgewater in. Matter of fact, I think they would have had more of a chance with Teddy Bridgewater in the fucking game because Teddy fucking Bridgewater wouldn't have turned the ball over 4 fucking times in this game. 4 times. 4 turnovers from Jared Goff. 1 fumble, 3 interceptions. Just never gave them a chance to win. Not one time did he give him the chance to win. He looked okay, had a couple of nice looking throws, but that's it. A couple of decent throws in the game doesn't mean you played well. He played like garbage. When it mattered the most, he played like fucking shit. Ben Johnson, I don't know if he's going to do good as a coordinator. Aaron Glenn, not a coordinator, as a head coach in the NFL. Aaron Glenn, I don't know either. Starting to think that Campbell's a glorified motivational speaker. But with all this talent, you've got to think they're going to, they're going to run it back next year and they're going to be really good. But you just don't know because they're going to probably, both their coordinators are probably going to be head coaches. Probably. So you'll get new coordinators, and we'll see how good of a coach Dan Campbell really is next year, essentially. We're going to see how fucking good Dan Campbell is next year. I guarantee you that next year is going to be an interesting one for the fucking Lions. They failed. They failed epically in this game. Once again, if Washington let Daniels throw it 50 times, they would have probably destroyed him even worse. They would have scored 80 points. They would have scored 80 points. Because they had no pass defense. They didn't have run defense either, but their pass defense was so fucking bad in this game, they couldn't cover fucking anything. When you're letting De'Ami Brown get even an inch of separation, you're probably fucking shit. So, man, interesting year for Detroit. They thought this was their year. Just wasn't meant to be. Thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Truth, and this was nothing but the truth.